Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Furcloud and today we are going to be doing a breakdown video and I'm going to show you how I produced my track titled Moments, which I released on Armada Chill. And yeah, so let's just listen to the track on Spotify and then let's get into Logic and break down all the elements that make up the track. So this is the intro. And this is the second breakdown and build-up. Alright guys, that's how it sounds. You can listen to the full track on your desired streaming platform. And now let's open up our project. Alright, so this is how it looks like. This is Logic Pro X and this is the project. Alright, so let's now go in order and break down the elements. So on top here we have the kick, both kicks. So yeah, that's it with the kick. I think it's a PML kick from the Ben Boomer sample pack. And yeah, not much processing going on here. An unused channel EQ and a Pug Child 670 by Waves. All right, so that's it for the kick, pretty simple. And now let's move to the drums. So this is the drums. And the first thing we have here is a Ben Boomer top loop from the Ben Boomer sample pack. Sounds like this. So I actually started this track about a year and a half ago. So there's not much processing going on or like extreme mixing, and it's pretty simple. I think like the whole track is really simple, and I've used some drum loops here and there. The kick is really has like one plugin, so really simple stuff. Here on the top loop here we just have a channel EQ removing the lower frequencies, and the next thing we have is our Durante shaker. And this has an EQ here, removing some of those high harsh frequencies, some kickstart for sidechain, and some CLA 2A for compression, and again, sort of an unused EQ here. And that is it. Yeah, so this is how it sounds. So it's a pretty cool Durante shaker from Durante. Yeah, it's a really good one. So the next thing we have in our drum bus is our drum loop. So it also adds a little bit of that groove that we need here. And the next thing we have is, and the groove loop. The groove loop has a little bit of reverb from the Valhalla Supermassive. I'm using the Space Verb 1999. And that is it. So the next thing we have here is the Philip Lewis shaker. Really nice shaker. It's like really organic and real sounding shaker. So this is how it sounds. I have it in the first intro sort of build up leading to the first drop. And this just adds a little bit of that human touch here. And this has an unused EQ and some sidechain. All right, so the next thing we have in the drum bus is another perk. And I believe this is also from a Ben Boomer pack from PML. So yeah, really the mixing is really simple here. Not much going on on the mixing side. And the last thing we have here is the groove hat on the second drop. And just a little bit of the volume, has some reverb and some sidechain. And yeah, so basically for sidechaining and compression, I've been using the Kickstart, which seemed pretty well for these drums. And the next thing we have here is our bass, the main bass guitar that is in the drops. So let's look into the MIDI of this bass guitar. So as you can see, I recorded it live into Logic just to create a more natural and more human feeling and more analog. You can really, if you just experiment with velocity and volumes, you can really make a sound more human and more analog and authentic. So this sound, the bass sound that we hear in the drop, is made in SERUM. Pretty simple patch. We just have two oscillators, both -2 octave, and then we have another sub oscillator -1, and it's just basically like a bass pluck. So then we have some sidechain, some channel EQ, some gain, and some Synth to remove some of those harsher frequencies. And that's it for the bass. I think it's really just simple with the mixing here. If I would be starting a track right now, I would probably add a lot more plugins here. Definitely process it a little bit more. But this is what we have here. All right, so the next thing we have here is the sustain bass in the second breakdown and build up. This is how it sounds. So the volume is low, is just here to add a little bit of that sub to the breakdown, make it a little bit more warm. And that is it for the bass. I'm actually surprised that I don't even have a sub under the plug guitar, which is strange. Now I would probably add a sub here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the bass. So let's just close the drums, the bass, and let's move to our next group, which is my favorite group. And this is the synths. This is all the main pads and strings here. And yeah, so let's just listen solo the group. So this is the main atmosphere and ambience that we have in the track, is just chords from SERUM. And the first thing we have here is the deep state pad, which sounds like this. This really, in the intro, this really sets the mood and vibe to the track. So the chord is pretty simple. We just have that. And I think I've used this chord on pretty much every single pad here. Yeah, and I have it panned to the left. And yeah, so let's just take a look at SERUM. We also have some kickstart for sidechain. And we also have some EQ removing the lower frequencies. So this is how it looks in SERUM. It's a pretty nice pad. We have two oscillators here, some LFO on the filter cutoff. I mean, pretty simple sound. By the way, guys, if you like these SERUM presets, you can download them on my Patreon. All the SERUM presets from My Track Moments are available to download on Patreon. So that is in the description. All right, so this is the pad. And the next thing we have here is another pad. So yeah, I think this is the same thing, but with sidechain. So the next thing we have here is our pad Moog. I think it sounds more as like a Prophet. But yeah, this is the same exact chord progression, same notes. And I always like to add like this Prophet sounding pad to my tracks. Really makes them more analog and more authentic. So yeah, this is SERUM. We have some channel EQ, again removing some of the lower frequencies, an unused channel EQ as well here, some sidechain, and this is how it looks in SERUM. So it's pretty simple sound. We have a basic MG, basic Moog here, wave shape, a little bit of detune here, and just a little bit of LFO2. And yeah, so the key thing here is the mix is at around 97%. So some of the higher frequencies are still there and are unfiltered, which adds a really cool effect, I think. And now in the effects section, we have a little bit of chorus, delay, and reverb. And that's about it. So yeah, so that is the Prophet pad here. And the next thing we have is our wobble sort of LFO pad, which is also made in SERUM. Same thing, channel EQ, kickstart, and we also have some Soothe 2 removing the harsher frequencies. And this preset is also fairly simple, one oscillator, and the real thing that is happening here is we just have an LFO one attached to the modulating the filter cutoff to create this wobbly LFO pad. The rate is at 1/16, the rise is at 1/4, so it's not like as sudden. And as usual, we just have some chorus, delay, and reverb. Simple. And this is the MIDI, looks like this, so it's different here now, just 3 notes. This is just playing throughout the track. So the next thing we have is our string ensemble. This just adds that organic sort of sound to the track. And this is the stock strings in Logic. And the MIDI looks like that. I think it's just 2 notes playing an octave. All right, that's pretty much it. We also have some reverb, and I'm using the Valacha Supermassive Space Verb 1999, which is my favorite reverb, and it's also free, so that's awesome. And yeah, so that's it for the strings. The next thing we have here is our pad Moog. Again, I think it's the Prophet. Let me just play it real quick. Yeah, it's the same thing as our pad Moog here. Channel Q, some of this stuff, Synth 2, and that is it. And it looks like that. Same preset. All right, so that's it for the first synths and pads. The next group we have here is just synths, and I think this is just leads, plucks, and more pads, I think here. Yeah. So the first element of this group is actually this ambient ARP. And I'm pretty sure all these three ARPs are the same, just different sidechaining, I think. Yeah, this one is more processed. So let's just move to this one. And this is playing in the second break and build-up. So this is the main arpeggio that you hear in the track. And the MIDI, I think it's pretty much the same. It is the same, I think. Yeah, I think it's the same as the chords in the previous groups. All right, so this is also have a stock arpeggio plugin on the MIDI. Just make it an arpeggio. We have some kickstart, channel Q, crystallizer, and channel Q, and more channel Q, and Synth 2. We have a lot of channel Qs, and a crystallizer to add a little bit of that sort of special sounding. Just adds a little bit of something to the pad, to the arpeggio, that makes it really sound unique. And yeah, let's open up SERUM and let's take a look. So it's a 2 oscillator sound. We have 1 oscillator plus 1 octave, and it's fairly simple. Envelope 1 is really short, sustain, and really plucky. Envelope 2 is like this. It's attached to the level of oscillator B. And yeah, so then we have LFO 1, which is modulating the filter cutoff and the level of the noise. And in the effects section, we just have some distortion, chorus delay, and reverb. And that is about it. And yeah, it just like has a lot of reverb here. I think, yeah, a lot of channel Q and crystallizer. Without the crystallizer, this arpeggio sounds like this. But with the crystallizer, sounds like this. So yeah, and there's some automation on the mix of the crystallizer. And yeah, so there's also some automation on the filter cutoff here. And yeah, so that is the main arpeggio. The next thing we have here is the Furcloud energy block. It sounds like this. It almost sounds like a voice, like a vocal chop. So here we have some channel Q, removing some of the lower frequencies, and the SERUM itself. 2 oscillators, all plus 1 octave, have these sort of vowel wavetables to make it more like a vocal. And this has a lot of unison. Envelope 1, envelope 2 are attached to the filter cutoff. In the effects section, we have some distortion, phaser, chorus, delay, and reverb. And that is it. Yeah, pretty cool sound. And the next thing we have is our timeless lead, which plays in the first drop, which first plays in the first drop, which sounds like this. And together with the first drop sounds like this. All right, so this is also SERUM, and we also have a lot of processing. We have a lot of plugins here. We have some reverb and delay. I'm using the dotted 8 orbits as like an extra rhythm to the sound. So it's like an EQ, not an EQ, an echo, and a reverb at the same time. We also have some sidechain, channel EQ. I think I would, if I would do it right now, I'd probably put the channel EQ before the reverb to have a cleaner reverb, but I have no idea why I did that when I started the track. So yeah, just channel EQ, crystallizer, and we have channel EQ before and after crystallizer, because sometimes crystallizer does add like these weird low ends or high ends based on the preset. So I just removed them. And some, what is this, CLA 2A. I'm not sure if it's in use, but yeah, I think this is just the intro preset here. Some more channel EQ, some gain wider to make it more sort of stereo, more wide. And then we have some soothe too, because this is a very harsh very harsh sound. And when it, like the cutoff is high, it's really harsh and distorts. As usual, I mean, like synths are harsh and distort. So yeah, that's fairly simple. A lot of EQs, and yeah, so let's just open up our SERUM here. It's a 3 oscillator sound, looks like that. Envelope 1, envelope 2, and that is it. That is pretty much it. In the effects section, we just have distortion, delay, reverb, and EQ. I would probably put the EQ before the plugins, the other ones, to make it more clean. Yeah, so that's it for this one. So with this sound, I actually live drew the automation here on the filter cutoff to make it more, make it less computerized and more human-like. So this is the, so this automation is modulating the filter cutoff here. So yeah, that just makes the this lead less computerized, more analog, and like it's really played by a real human. So, and in the intro, the outro here, the last part of this lead, we have some crystallizer mix and some more cutoff here. Really adds like this pretty unique effect here. So the next thing we have in our group is our lead wobble, which plays throughout the whole track. Sounds like this. Where is it? And this is the MIDI. And also the velocity of all notes are different, and they were recorded live to again make it less computerized. And here we have two voila supermassives, which is kind of strange. Not really clean for the mix. We also have some EQ and more EQ, And the last EQ is removing some of the lower frequencies, which again should be before the reverb to make a cleaner sound coming out of the reverb. But yeah, I don't know why I did that. Anyways, let's open up SERUM and let's take a look here. So this is a 2 oscillator sound. We have +2 octave, +2 octave, some unison, some attack, some 50 milliseconds on the envelope 1. And this envelope is attached, modulating the filter cutoff, as well as the LFO1 is also modulating the filter cutoff. And yeah, some distortion, chorus delay, and reverb. And that is about it. Pretty nice lead sound. And the next thing we have here is the, what is this called? Wait, what is this? Yeah, so this is I like to call this the portamento lead. And yeah, some channel Q, some Synth 2. And I really like using the harsh synth preset here. Really remove some of those harsher frequencies that are often in these kind of synths. Yeah, so this is the gliding lead reverb here, and 2 oscillators. Pretty straightforward, simple. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The next thing we have, and by the way, I think we're done with this group. Yeah, we're done with the synths group. The next thing we have here is our intro piano that sounds like this. And the MIDI looks like this, just 2 notes playing like that, and a third one here. And here we have some channel Q and some reverb. Yeah, so the space reverb 1999. And for the piano sound, we're using the free contact player, as well as the free place series selection and the hybrid keys. It's all free. You can download it on the Native Instruments website, I think, if it's still free. I think it was always free. And yeah, so this is a really nice piano sound, which sounds like this. So I think it's a mixture of 2 sounds, a Rhodes and something else, just the normal piano, I guess. So I think it's pretty cool. Really nice sounding piano. The next thing we have here is our Atmos and effects. So the first thing we have is our choir sample. Sounds like a drone. And just some reverb and channel EQ. So I think I got this from Splice. I believe that's from Splice. And yeah, that just loops out throughout the track. The next thing we have is our impact Vox. So that's the vocal here. We just have some channel Q wider to make it more wide, and some gain. The next thing we have is our PML shaker. Sort of like a fill before the drop. Really adds that organic sounding vibe here. Kickstart again, channel EQ, it's unused, and some SERUM effects and Synth 2. And yeah, so that's pretty much it here. The next thing we have is just a sweep. Fairly simple, some crashes, the Kashmir crash. Pretty simple here. And the next thing we have is our atmospheric soundscape that is playing in the intro here and the breakdown. So yeah, I believe this is also from Splice. And the next thing we have here is our vocal. And this just has some Valaha super massive and some SERUM effects, which is also, yeah, this is a delay. And yeah, that's pretty much all the elements here in this track. Yeah, so let's just listen to the drop here. All right, guys, now let's move into our automation and let's just see what we have here. All right, so let's just open up our groups and let's just take a look at the automation here. On the main stereo out, we have now automation for our intensity of Endless Smile. This is an amazing plugin for build-ups and breakdowns wherever you want to increase intensity. And what this plugin does, let me just open up real quick. So this is the plugin, and intensity is only one knob, and I believe this is a mixture of a reverb, some high pass filter, delay, and a riser. So everything at one knob, you can just automate it on the build-ups. Really makes it sound more professional and more interesting, and makes the drop sort of like sound more, makes it hit harder. So yeah, that's that. On the stereo out, we have some Saturn. So this is just a mastering thing. Some Ozone 9, some Endless Smile. So these are two presets, different presets. I'm using the Helium, Jumping, and Broken Teeth here. And I'm just automating the intensity on this stereo out automation. We have some Real Life. It's a really awesome plugin on the master chain. We have some channel EQ, some CLA, and the last thing we have is our span as an analyzer. And yeah, so that's all on the master chain. Now let's take a look at the automation. So I'm just on the arpeggios, I'm just, automating the filter cutoff here. Alright guys, that's how I made my track Moments. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown video and found it helpful. I posted all my SERUM presets that I made in this track on my Patreon, which is linked in the description. And yeah guys, thank you so much, and I will see you very soon.